Hello, my name is Dave Crowley. I'm president of the Mustang Hall of Fame. The Mustang Hall of Fame is dedicated to honoring and recognizing those exceptional athletes, coaches, and community service contributors who have made outstanding contributions to the Medford High School athletic program over the years. During this video, you'll learn a little bit about a few of the 13 people who will be inducted into the Hall of Fame. Their stories and their accomplishments are varied and amazing. However, they have one thing in common. They represent the very best of the Medford High School Mustang values and tradition. 9 athletes, 1 coach, and 3 community service leaders will be inducted on November 20th in the afternoon. That's the Sunday before Thanksgiving. Now, if you know someone who you believe should be in the Hall of Fame, we'd love to have that nomination from you. So to find out more about the induction ceremony on November 20th, or to nominate someone to be in the Hall of Fame, please go to our website to read more information or to fill in and submit an induction form. The site is Mustang Hall of Fame, all one word, .com. And one more thing. Congratulations again to all the inductees who on November 20th will become members of the Medford High School Mustang Hall of Fame. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Carrie Ann Lucharis, and I'm here with David Crowley, the president of the Mustang Hall of Fame. David, how are you doing today?
I'm doing fine. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, thank you. I understand you're a Mustang, so I wanted to know some of the sports you played in high school.
Yeah, that was a long time ago. I ran cross country, I played hockey, and I also played baseball.
Which one was your favorite?
Baseball, without a doubt. And it was so great to see the Cubs do what the Red Sox did, ending in a long drought. But baseball was absolutely my first love. And I played catcher, which gave me a chance to not only play the game, but watch it at the same time. You know, if you think about it, every other player in the field has their back to some part of the playing field, and to be able to see the whole game and influence it as directly as a catcher does, calling pitches, calling plays, setting up all sorts of schemes, if you will, in order to win. I really enjoyed that, and watching it is just as much fun now as it was then too.
I'm a catcher as well, so I can totally relate to what you're saying.
Well, then you would agree that
Yep.
Catchers are the best looking, most intelligent, have the greatest personalities.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, okay.
What was the greatest memory that you had playing baseball?
Well, actually, there are a number of memories on the field. The teams that I played on, I played varsity 3 years, and every year we made the tournament, and every year we lost in the first round. And so it was great and frustrating at the same time. But getting to those games, the talent of the team and the quality of the coaching was phenomenal. So there's a lot of really good memories. But what I remember most, and really had a huge impact on my life going forward, is actually off the field, but related to sports. At that time, there was a guidance counselor named Peter Brady, who's still around, and I think a lot of people in Medford will recognize the name or know him. I was walking down the hall in the fall, and he said, "How's cross country going? You getting ready for hockey? What do you do for baseball right now?" And we were chatting about that. And then he said, "Where are you applying to colleges?" And I told him, and he said, "Well, why isn't Harvard on the list?" And I said, "Well, I can't afford to go to Harvard. Only rich people go there or whatever." And he said, "Well, I'll make a bet." Because I told him it was another application fee, another $15 that our family just didn't have. And he said, "I'll make a bet with you. You apply to Harvard, and if you get in, you pay the fee. And if you don't get in, I'll pay the fee. You can't lose." Well, I lost the bet, so I had to pay the fee. But it was my involvement in sports, and Mr. Brady, who was also very involved in sports, that connection, that, it's really the personal connections between and among teammates and coaches and supporters and fans, that personal connection and interest that people took in me that really affected my whole life. My whole life would have been very different, I'm sure, if I didn't go to college at Harvard. I'm sure it would have gone well, but still, it was a very different track that I ended up on as a result of Medford High sports.
That's nice. After college, how did you get involved with the Mustang Hall of Fame?
Well, to be honest with you, I didn't think much about it until I got a phone call from the president of the Hall of Fame, Reggie Graham, on a Saturday morning, letting me know that I was inducted. And that was the start, because within months after being inducted, I was asked by the new president who took over for Reggie, Mark Romano, to join the board. And so I joined the board and spent 4, 5, 6 years working with the board to continue what we're trying to do for the athletes in the school currently, as well as recognizing Hall of Famers in their achievements in the past when they were students at Medford High. So I really believe in that, and spend a fair amount of time making our mission real for people, because it's not just about recognizing great achievements. It's really about building the community that we all enjoyed when we were here, and to some extent reviving it and reliving it and re-experiencing classmates decades later. I mean, that's really a lot of what we try to do.
I do think the community aspect really does go into the Mustang Hall of Fame, as you can see with all these interviews. Is there any criteria for kids, for upcoming student athletes who are aspiring to be in the Mustang Hall of Fame, that you guys look for?
Yeah, completely forget it. If you're playing a sport to get into the Hall of Fame, then you're not playing the sport for the love of the game. And that's really, if you talk to most of the Hall of Famers, none of them. The fact, first of all, when I was playing, it didn't exist. And second, if it did exist, I think the greatest of the players played because they love the game, they love the camaraderie and the community of the team that happens, they love the competitive element in it. There's so much to love about just playing the game that if you focus on that, then whatever happens after that, whether it's a Hall of Fame nomination or not, will be a good part of your life. So the only criteria is that you were an athlete at Medford High School and that you're 5 years out of Medford High School. After that, we can consider you, and anyone can be nominated by anyone else. So it's, in terms of criteria, don't worry about criteria, because if you never get in and all you did was have a great time playing sports at Medford High School, you're already a winner.
Well said. I also understand that you were a chemistry teacher. Is there anything that you took away from being a teacher that you applied to being the president of the Mustang Hall of Fame?
Well, that's an interesting question. Yeah, don't let lithium get exposed to open air in an airplane. Don't make sure you have the right iPhone, so to speak. I don't know. Teaching for me is more mode of operating than a profession at this point. I did teach professionally. I did teach high school. I taught in college. I'm now in sales, and I view that as teaching too. How do I help someone learn something that might help them succeed better in their business? And if it doesn't work, that's great. Here's what you might try instead of what we have, right? So it's really about teaching. And I think to some extent that expresses itself and has an effect on what happens in the Hall of Fame and how I work with the rest of the board members to achieve our mission. But I'm going to have to think about that for more details.
All right. Thank you for taking your time out of your day to come talk to us. Back to you. Hi, my name is Carrie Lucharis, and I'm here with the Mustang Report. I'm here with Dave Richard and Meg Richard, who are brother and sisters that got inducted into the Hall of Fame. Can you guys tell me how that felt when you were nominated?
Megan was nominated first, and I found out a few weeks later, and I thought it was kind of a joke being played on me by some friends, a little prank. But I found out that, the director was congratulating me, and then it finally sank in, and it's a pretty cool honor.
Yeah, I found out probably late August, and I was very excited because I loved playing as a Mustang in high school, and everyone was really excited. And then we were on a family vacation, and Dave found out that he was, so everyone was just like an added excitement for that. It's just really cool to be nominated and inducted with your brother. So,
what sports did you guys play in high school?
I played football and indoor and outdoor track.
And I played soccer, basketball, and softball.
Which one is your favorite sport?
I'm always asked that question. I really don't even know how to answer it because I've played all three kind of my whole life. Maybe softball, I guess.
Good choice. Good choice. What role model did you guys have, if you had any, being a Mustang?
I think it was just kind of older teammates that I might have looked up to and, practiced with and tried to work hard to be like them or to win a starting spot or be on the team.
Yeah, when Dave was a senior, I was in 8th grade, and I actually was given the opportunity to be the ball girl for the soccer team while he was there, because my phys ed teacher in middle school was the head coach. So I'd say a lot of those girls on the team I kind of looked up to, and also my assistant softball coach, Sarah Sweat, who I'm very honored to have her induct me in the banquet. So there were a lot of role models that a lot of girls my age could have looked up to.
Did you guys have any favorite memory while you were playing?
I had a few. I mean, a lot of them were obviously unexpected wins or advances into the tournament. My soccer team was always very successful, which was awesome. Basketball, not so much, but we had a lot of fun. And softball, we just always had a good time with all the girls.
The track teams, we were pretty good. We were pretty consistent in my 4 years, but football, not so much. Only a few wins, if any, each season, but I think the best memory is that we won every year against Malden. So 4 years in a row that we beat Malden.
Now, I understand that D. Rich won more games of 21 than you. Is that true?
I do not agree with that whatsoever. We did play a lot growing up. We always played in our driveway. He is a good shooter, I'll give him that, but I do not know if I agree with the winning statistic. We might have to play again to see who would win.
I think it's pretty even,
All right.
and I might have had a few more wins.
I would say even over winning. I would say that.
So was it really competitive growing up between you two, or were you guys constantly building each other up?
Well, I'm the youngest. We have another brother, so I'm the youngest and the only girl. So, I mean, we always were outside doing something, playing catch, playing pickle with a tennis ball, or playing off the wall, or playing basketball or something. So, I mean, we were naturally competitive just because we were siblings and loved to play sports and everything. But they were great role models to look up to play sports.
What would you guys say for any Mustang student who would want to be elected into the Hall of Fame? What advice do you have for them?
I think it's just, if you love the sport, you need to work hard at it and to do your best in whatever the sport asks you to do, whether it's off-season training or extra work in practice or watching film, getting better in however you can to be the best you can in that sport and just be dedicated to it.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, hard work is kind of the epitome of being a solid athlete, and to definitely work well with your teammates and encourage each other and just do your best every practice, every game, every scrimmage, like Dave said, in and out of the season, to just be the best athlete you can be.
Did you guys play sports in college as well?
I played intramural sports. I went to UMass Amherst. I worked for the athletic department instead. That is one of my biggest regrets, not playing on a college team, but I played intramural sports.
I played football at UMass Dartmouth.
And I understand you run the Boston Marathon. What's the experience like that, doing that?
It was probably one of the most surreal things I ever decided to do and I ever did. It was just something I always decided I wanted to do before I was 30, and I'll be 30 next year, so I kind of was running out of time. I ran for Jocelyn Diabetes, which our brother Chris is diabetic, and it was a crazy experience. I trained from November to April. I actually had a bad injury to my foot in February, so I lost a month of training, so that was hard to kind of come back from, but I had a ton of support from my family, from my friends, from my students at school. Not sure if I'll ever do it again, but it was something I'm very proud of being able to do.
When are you running a D-Rich?
I have no plans to run a marathon anytime soon.
All right, thank you guys.
Hi, this is Lydia Ryan with the Mustang News, and today I'm here with Coach Agerio of Medford High's cross-country team, and we're here to talk about his recent induction into the Medford High's Hall of Fame. So first of all, to get this started, how did you feel when you were first inducted?
Oh, thanks, you, Lydia. I was kind of shocked about it. I'm still coaching, and when Mr. Ryan, Crowley gave me a call, I said, "What? I'm still coaching." I was really honored. It was more than I ever expected, but I was really proud of being. It's something I really I'm proud of.
Good, I'm glad. So, how did you first get involved in running?
Oh, back in high school, my parents wanted us to get involved in some kind of athletics, and I couldn't play football or baseball. So the cross-country team was out running, and coach came over and said, "No, you like to try running?" I said, "Sure." So I ran 12 years in high school and then 12 years in college, so something I really enjoy doing.
And did you have any specific role model that you aspired to be like?
If I look back at my career, I'd say my high school coach, his name was Brother Constant, and my college coach, Bill Squires at Boston State. They taught me so much about running, what it means to you, and how you can use it in other parts of your life. So I would consider those two. And my dad. My dad was, he was a good role model. He wasn't a runner, but he wanted us to do things, and he made sure that everything I did was best I could be.
Nice. And did those role models help you become the coach that you are today?
I think I learned a lot from them. They were just so inspiring. They just had so much love for the sport. And I think they were definitely the reason I'm still coaching today.
And how long have you been coaching for?
Oh, that's a tough one. Well, I graduated college in 1970, and I've been coaching since then. So I coached my first 10 years at Mullen Catholic, and then I was fortunate enough to get a job here at Medford, and I've been here since then.
Out of all those years of coaching, is there any one specific memory that sticks out to you?
Oh, wow, that's a tough one. When you're doing something so long, it's hard to pick out one specific thing. I had great teams. We've had several all-scholastic runners. Amanda Fitzmeyer, Chuck Martin, Phil Galeback, he's also coming into the Hall of Fame. I'd say he ran the state meet his senior year, was leading the whole way. He fell down with about a quarter mile to go, and the two favorites were well ahead of him. And somehow he put his whole self together, great guts and determination, and he ended up pulling out being a state champ. That's one big memory. And then I think having the ability to coach so many individuals, so many boys and girls, which are young men and women, that it's unbelievable. That's a big reason I still coaching is that being able to work with all these individuals and bring them from being a non-runner to feeling, oh, I accomplished something. Yeah, I would say that would be it.
So being a coach so long, you've definitely seen a lot and a lot of kids. Is there anything that you try and teach your students and your runners as a coach so they improve and become better people overall?
I think you teach them that hard work brings out results, whether it's on the cross-country course, whether it's in the classroom. Budget your time, work hard, commitment to whatever you really want to improve is a big thing. I think that carries over into your life goals. Communication with the coach is a big thing. Therefore, you got to communicate with your parents, with your job, all those little things that people think, oh, you just run. It goes well beyond that, and I think when I meet runners from years past, that's one of the things they always tell me, wow, you taught us some kind of commitment. And I think makes you really feel good.
Is there anything that you can remember that running has taught you?
Running taught me. Well, running taught me a lot of things, I think. Hard work, socialization, making other people work hard. There's so many people that I've met through running, friends. It just goes beyond just the day in and day out of running, I would say. Yeah, I think I can go on and on, but yeah, I think the overall experience of meeting people, your teacher, Mr. Dempsey, we were classmates back in high school. We've become great friends. We've met a lot of people through him. My assistant coach, Tom Lynch. Tom's been with me for 20 years. That makes me feel good. The officials I meet nowadays go way back. It just goes on and on and on. It's just a great experience. I wouldn't change anything. And then also I was a teacher here in Medford for 38 years, teaching elementary school, which was just fabulous. I'd have the little kids in the morning, and then in the afternoon I'd come up here, so I had both worlds. So it's been a great experience teaching, and the city of Medford's been great. I love the city of Medford. I've lived here my whole life up until I got married, but yes, running's been wonderful.
And outside of running, is there anything that maybe as being a teacher that stands out to you and that you're most proud of?
Outside being a runner, proud of my family, proud of my wife, giving me the opportunity to do things over the years. I spend a lot of time away from home in the afternoons, on weekends, so that makes me feel good. And I've had a great experience.
Maybe as being a teacher, because I know you were involved in teaching the Special Olympics.
Oh, yes, that's a good idea. Right. Yeah, back, I think it's 40 years ago, myself and 2 or 3 other phys ed teachers together, we put together the Junior Olympics. And I hear now it's going to be the 40th year, and it's still going on. And the reason why we had the Junior Olympics was we brought at that time, the junior highs together and had all the 6th graders at that time, now it's the 5th graders, to intermingle with each other. And then when they came up to high school, they got to know each other, better communication with each other, more friendship. And I think it kind of pulls all at that time, 5th graders together, and I think it makes better experience at the high school.
Now, do you have any advice for students coming into high school or runners on your team that you'd like to share?
Advice. Well, I think when they come up to the high school, I'd like to see them participate in something. Of course, we'd like them to run. I mean, whether it's cross country or track, definitely. But I think they should get involved into some kind of athletics or get involved in clubs. I have like 9 people on my team on the band. They're really involved in the band. Several involved in various clubs. So if I would say, what should you do when you go to Medford High? It's get involved. Doesn't necessarily mean after school, go home at, I think it's 2:18 you go home, we call it, But whether it's sports, I think it develops a lot of friendship, meeting each other, working together, socializing together. And it could be football, it could be hockey. I have hockey players, I have basketball players. I have kids on the math team. Band's a big thing in my sport. And I think if you get involved in stuff, you really learn the high school experience, and you don't let it slide and say 10 years from now, geez, I wish I got involved. So I would say my big thing is coming to Medford High, involvement, whatever it is, sports, clubs, yourselves in the media. It's something you'll cherish the rest of your life.
Well, thank you so much, and congratulations once again on your induction. You definitely sound like you deserve it, and you've waited a long time to get something like this, although you didn't expect it. And you're probably the best candidate for this award that I can think of.
Oh, I thank you very much, and I just thank all the people who gave me the opportunity to stay here coaching. Thank you so much.
Welcome. Back to you. Hi, I'm Lydia Ryan with the Mustang Report, and today we're here with Kayla Sherry to talk about her induction to the Medford Mustang Hall of Fame. So first of all, congratulations on your induction.
Thank you.
And how did you feel when you were first inducted?
Okay, so when I first got the call, I thought it was a prank. I thought I was being pranked. I thought it was a friend because they know I would, like, all my friends would know I would love that to happen. But then I realized, like, as I heard more details, like, oh, this is real, and it was just amazing. It was super exciting. I was just, the first thing I did after was call my grandpa. He was a huge supporter of the teams that I played on, and yeah, it was just pretty amazing.
Did you ever expect something like this would come your way?
No, absolutely not.
Absolutely not. So what sports did you play in high school?
I played basketball, volleyball, and track, and field outdoor track.
Oh, so you did a lot. That's awesome. So what motivated you to play all these sports?
So growing up, my dad coached me in basketball a lot. I started when I was like 6. So basketball was kind of a big sport. And again, he coached me. My mom was involved. Like, she drove everyone to practice. So I think that is definitely a huge part of it. It definitely wasn't all just like me being motivated. I had a support system. And I think just like getting into the whole athletic family at Medford High, you meet people on the basketball team who do volleyball, and they're like, you should play. And yeah, I mean, you just kind of go where your friends are going, and it made sense. Same thing with track. I had friends who played basketball who were into track, and it just made sense to kind of stay in that group.
Did you have a specific role model, maybe your dad, who like coached you through doing these sports throughout high school?
Yeah, I would say my mom and my dad. They both definitely helped me, like, after a bad game, tell me that it wasn't the end of the world and my life wasn't ending and it wasn't going to be a failure, which is a hard thing to actually understand when you're a freshman and you just put all this pressure on yourself. So they were helpful in that. Other role models, I'd say, were the captains on my team when I was a freshman, like the seniors that I really look up to. I mean, if you had a bad practice, I'm sure this is true today, when you have a bad practice or a bad game, they're the first people to kind of like pick you up and say, like, this is fine, this is nothing, you're going to be great, you are great. So I think that like team relationship is really strong here at Medford High.
Are there any specific lessons that you learned being on a team that you've carried with you, like past Medford High School?
Yes. I am going to take this opportunity to talk about feminism. I think the biggest thing I learned from high school sports and being on a team with other women, and I went to an all-women's college, so I have a little more experience with the all-women situation, but like having that bond with other women and realizing from older women that it doesn't help anyone if you are kind of like pushing your teammates down. It really just takes the whole team down, and if the only way you're all going to succeed is if you're like kind of lifting each other up. And that's what I was taught as a freshman. The seniors kind of lifted me up when I was feeling down. I was a better player and they were a better player because of it. Even if it was like, say, another point guard who, you know, we were a little competitive, they still wanted me to do well. Even though that meant I could maybe start over them one game. Like, everyone was kind of excelling together. And so when I became a senior, like it was second nature to just kind of like see the freshmen, and, you know, when they were down, like, I'm going to pull them up. I would never, it's just what you do, because you know that, like, when you're doing well, they're doing well. When they're doing well, you're a better player. So it's kind of this idea of like everyone rising together, which has definitely followed me, like, basketball and college and just in my career.
Is there any specific memory that has stuck with you from any of the teams you were on that you can like still think of today?
There's so many. There's just like so many good memories, but I would say probably like senior night basketball. I think that was kind of just like all my years of work and just like all these relationships I've made coming to a head. And it was, I mean, it's just such an emotional night, and you're kind of just like reflecting on the past 4 years and what you put all this time and effort into. And it just, that night, it kind of all seemed worth it. And yeah, that was pretty great.
So your experiences at Medford High through sports have carried on into college as well, correct?
Yes, I played basketball my first year at Wellesley College, and a little bit into my sophomore year, and then I had to stop to go abroad. But I definitely was kind of carrying over my Mustang spirit, and it was a really tough decision. I did want to keep playing, but
Are sports involved in anything that you're doing today?
yeah, I do some pickup basketball leagues. I was in a couple co-ed leagues. I was in a men's league this past winter. I don't really know how that happened, but I found myself in a men's league. It was pretty great. It was really competitive, but I would say the co-ed leagues were also pretty great and competitive. I run every day. I do some races. I play volleyball in the summer, which is just for fun. But yeah, just generally when I can get like enough people to come together and play pickup or some kind of sport, it's just like the best thing ever because it's rare as you get older. Just sad.
And it's harder.
Yeah, and it's harder.
So, lastly, what is your advice to upcoming student athletes in the high school?
I would say just don't be too hard on yourself. Like enjoy your team, enjoy every competition. Like enjoy the fact that it's hard and that you are struggling because that makes you a better person. It makes you a better player. I think, if you're blowing out every team, every game, and you're the best on the team and you're scoring the most, like that's cool, but it's also not challenging you, making you a better player. So kind of just enjoy that competition, enjoy that time with your teammates, and it goes by really fast, and there's no other feeling like playing and representing your high school. So just know that and don't take it for granted.
Well, thank you for being with us today, and congratulations once again. And thank you for sharing your experience with us. It was really nice to hear it.
Thank you.
Back to you.
Hi, I'm Carrie Ann Lucharis, and I'm here with the Mustang Report. I'm here with Al Luongo, who is one of the inductees for the Mustang Hall of Fame. How did you feel when you got nominated for this award?
Very surprised and glad and proud.
What motivated you to play soccer in high school?
Well, actually, I didn't play soccer. When I came from Italy in 1958, I was 16. Necessity, I had to go to work. But I played recreational after work, but not to high school.
So did you have a role model when you were coming here and you were motivated?
I was too young to have a role model. I didn't know the environment here. So I did on my own, and finally I see the program at the high school, and I try to emulate that.
So I hear that you started Medford Youth Soccer, and I just wanted to know how you kind of started the program and how built up it is now, considering a lot of kids are playing soccer and a lot of kids are very motivated doing that.
Well, the motivation was that we need a program here because our kids were interested and in order for them to play, they had to go out of town. So myself and a few other people decided to let's give it a try. We start with 2 teams, and then we balled up, over the years, and become very successful. At one point, we had about 20 teams. They won several trophies and state champs, and they were very enthusiastic years.
You also were the head coach for the Medford varsity girls soccer team, is that right? So how was coaching that different from playing?
Coaching, especially girls soccer, it's a lot different than boys. So myself and Jim Reno had to adjust to it, even though my daughter was playing and his daughter was playing. But you have to handle the very both girls, both daughters were, cut in a little thing because the father was the coach, and the also spread that you prefer your daughter, or so on. So we had to be very careful how we handle the whole team all around.
Do you have any advice to upcoming student athletes who are interested in playing soccer?
Well, student athletes, to begin with, the main study it's study. Go to school, have good grades, because you don't have good grades, they won't let you play, regardless of talent you are. And then practice, and be respectful to your teammate and to the opponent.
Thank you. Congratulations again.
Thank you very much.
Hi, I'm Carrie Ann Lucharis, and I'm with the Mustang Report. I'm here with Greg Wilson, one of the inductees for the Mustang Hall of Fame. Greg, how did it feel when you found out you were inducted?
It was an honor. My mother's an inductee. My father's an inductee at his high school as well, so it's definitely an honor to kind of join the prestigious class. I also have bragging rights as being the youngest member in my family now to be a Hall of Fame member. So,
What sports did you go in for?
hockey and baseball. I grew up playing those two my whole life, continued to kind of dabble with them now. Just two of the sports I was most passionate about. So,
Did you have a favorite out of hockey and baseball?
probably hockey. I was fortunate enough to play baseball in college. However, growing up around here, being a huge Bruins fan and just living in New England, you're always taught that hockey, is the number one. And growing up playing pond hockey is something I definitely miss doing. But yeah, I'd definitely say hockey is my number one for sure.
In high school, when you were playing sports, did you have a role model that motivated you?
I wouldn't say I had one. My parents were definitely always there for me. They were people I looked up to all the time. The sacrifices they made basically, showed me and paved the way on how to be successful, not just in sports but in life.
Did you have a favorite memory while playing?
It's a funny question. I have a ton. Definitely a shootout win in the state tournament, upsetting Woburn my junior year, beating Malden Catholic multiple times in the Hall of Fame tournament. But I'd say overall, I was able to play with some of my best friends growing up. Not many people are fortunate enough to do that. Play with kids that you grew up playing with since you were 8 years old and graduating and still being good friends with those guys. So it's almost a culmination of things. But yeah, I was fortunate enough to have a lot, so it's definitely hard to pick one.
Do you have any advice for upcoming student athletes who maybe want to get inducted into the Hall of Fame?
Just work. Have that work ethic, but also focus on, your schoolwork's important. You got to get it done in the classroom, especially if you want to play in college. And I think that should be, motivation for every athlete is getting to the next level. Not all of us are fortunate enough to play professional sports, but, we should have that drive and ambition to get there. And it can take us a lot of places. So.
Do you have anything you took away from sports that now you continue to pursue in your job?
Like I said, just the work ethic, having that mentality. Growing up in Medford, you kind of develop a blue-collar mentality. You got to outwork the next person in order to get where you want to go in life. So, that definitely has helped me transition into the so-called real world. And, it's definitely what I learned here and the character traits I took from my coaches and my teammates continue to help me today. So.
Okay, thank you so much, and congratulations again.